As we try to get bright hope for tomorrow on this Tuesday evening, I want to speak with you about King David, who before he was the king was just a young, inexperienced, immature shepherd boy who God plucked out of the sheep pen and anointed to be king over his people Israel. But before he was appreciated and recognized in the office of king, he was opposed by the maniac King Saul, who was obsessed with power and who was obsessed with trying to damage David and even kill him. David, in between the time when he was anointed king and between when he actually became king, things got pretty bad for him. He was isolated and alone. He lost friends. He had people trying to kill him. He was separated from people who loved him. And it is in that context that David really would have understood what he was writing in Psalm 133 when he said, "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brothers to dwell together in unity." It's like the precious oil upon the head coming down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard coming down upon the edge of his robes. It's like the dew of Hermon coming down upon the mountains of Zion, for there the Lord commanded the blessing, life forever. David knows how good and pleasant it is for brothers to dwell together in unity because he had spent so much time in the lead up to his kingship at odds with people. He'd seen so much conflict. And when he talks about how good and pleasant it is for brothers to dwell together in unity, he talks about two things that just ought to be. He talks about the priest Aaron, who would be consecrated by the oil to do his holy work. The holy priest ought to be consecrated to do his holy work. He talks about the dew of Hermon coming down on the very arid and dry region of Mount Zion, which is where God's life-giving promise was focused. It just ought to be the case that the place that God has blessed with life would receive water, which leads to physical and biological life. And so just as Mount Zion ought to be watered and just as Aaron ought to be anointed, it is good and pleasant for brothers to dwell together in unity. One of the things our church has been praying for is that we would be restored to one another in the aftermath of this pandemic, and that we would be restored not just together, but in a spirit of unity and love and joy that we get to be together. One of the noteworthy things about Psalm 133 is that it is a song of ascents. That is, it's a psalm that the people of God would sing together as they returned to Jerusalem for one of the holy feasts. This is a song they sang on the way to restoration and joy together. So this is a psalm of ascents that we can reflect on together today as we have hope. We're not together yet, but we will be together soon. We're on the way. We can sing this psalm of ascents together and look forward to the fact that one day we will be together. We'll be together in unity, and that will be a good and pleasant thing indeed. And so you stay encouraged. Even though we're not together right now, we will be. And until we're together again, you keep that in your mind and your heart.